Hi, Yins. Happy Friday. It's Friday, August 23rd, and it's been a very long time. I hope you're all doing well. I am. I have been doing well. It's just been a long time, very, very busy summer, and I just really have not had the time or the energy to really put into any kind of videoing for you all. So I am finally back and ready to give some time into a video. So here we go. A lot of things have happened over the summer. I finished my schooling, so I'm completely done with school. I finished my certification program. My certification application is pending, so I'm now just waiting for the certification to come in. That should take a couple weeks, and I will be all done with that. And everything is going well. So I've taken a couple trips. One is to the New Jersey FlossTube retreat in central North Jersey. I guess you could say it was more northern than where I'm at. It was about 60 miles away. Caroline came down, as you saw on some of the videos and pictures that have been posted if you follow her group on Facebook. And so that was a lot of fun. I did really enjoy going to that. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because there's already been videos out with that. So if you haven't seen any of that, go check out those videos. I'm pretty sure Caroline has spoken about all of the FlossTube retreat in her videos. And so I am not going to go into all the details about the retreat itself. Plus, it was over almost a month ago. But while I was there, I did go to Needleworker's Delight, right? Yes, Needleworker's Delight, and I got a few things. So I'm going to show that real quick because, as we all know, Needleworker's Delight is also the home base of Silkweaver. And while I was there, I really didn't have anything planned on what I didn't really want to buy anything. But since I've never had any Silkweaver fabric, I wanted to go ahead and purchase a piece or two of Silkweaver fabric just to have and to be able to try sometimes. So I got 2 pieces of Silkweaver fabric. So I got a 28 count solo die. So this is a 28 count Lugana. Of course, it's a yellowy green color that I really like. So a nice big yellowy green color, which will be nice for something I do. No clue what I'll do on that. And again, I have no reason for these things. I had a $50 gift card from my birthday that I wanted to go ahead and use up. And so I used I didn't even have to put any of my money towards any of the things that I bought. And then this is a 28 count linen, which was also a solo die. And this is a little bit more of like a mauve-y, purpley cream color. And this one is much more splotchy than I usually use. So there we go. But I'm sure I will find something to put on that. Again, a nice big piece of fabric. No clue what will go on that. But now I have silk weaver fabrics. So very excited about that. And to use up the rest of my gift card, I went ahead and bought a pattern that I really liked, and I've never seen these patterns before. This is a Blackberry Lane Designs pattern, and it's keeping watch ornament. And I liked it because of the very high detail, full coverage ornament. And it came with the charm and the beads for the finishing. So one day I will finish those up. So that is all I got at Needleworkers Delight / Silk Weaver. But it was a very nice store. I enjoyed shopping around there, and it was a lot of fun. Now, while we're at it, I'll just talk about the other acquisitions that I've gotten. Purchases. I've been very good about making no purchases or very few purchases. And the only reason I even made this purchase was because I've been trying to find it, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And thanks to a few friends that I reached out to, Mama Joan helped me find it on Etsy. And I swear I looked all over Etsy and I still couldn't find it. But this is one that is really hard to find, but I was able to find it, and it's called the Queen Sampler. It's a Plum Street Samplers. It's Elizabeth I. So that is the one that I was looking for. And so I will be stitching that up sometime soon. It shouldn't take me too long to stitch that one up. And that's all I've purchased so far. That is the only pattern, other than the stuff that I got at Needleworkers Delight. This is the only thing I bought so far with my own money this year. So I'm pretty pleased with that. So, my purchases. Now the good stuff. This summer, while I have not been making videos, I have been on a finishing frenzy. And speaking of finishing frenzies, I know many of you have entered my large project finish competition. I have not announced the winners yet. I am planning on getting that done in the next week. I appreciate all of you who have been patiently waiting for the results of that. I just have not had the time to be able to put that out. I will be getting that out in the next week. So if you just bear with me a little bit longer, the results will be coming out in the next week or so. Fingers crossed, and nothing else happens that would prolong it or delay anything. But I do plan on getting the video out in the next week. So please bear with me a little bit longer. But with that, I have had many finishes, and the one that most of you have all been waiting for, and I've already posted it on Instagram, is Henry. So my very first full coverage, large finish, here is Henry VIII. There he is. So and of course I've already I had for a long time talked about, I had a frame for him and it didn't work out. And so I went to Hobby Lobby with the frame that I intended to put him in. And I was just going to order the mat and the glass, and then I was going to frame him myself to save on some cost. And what I found out was that the frame that I had was too large, and I did not have enough edge fabric to get around to be able to properly frame him in order to mat him up properly. So in order to frame him, I had to just go ahead and order a custom frame. But so I did this all at Hobby Lobby, and I'm very, very pleased with the quality of work that I got done there. As you can see, neatly framed, finished on the back. He is stapled and not laced. I did ask if they laced or stapled. They said that they staple at the one that I go to. That wasn't a concern of mine. It's not, and it's what happens after I die is I'm not concerned about. It's not going to be passed down among the generations in my family, so I'm not concerned about it. You might be, but for me, it was not a big deal. I'm sure I will get a lot of crazy comments about that, but that was my choice to make, and that's the choice I made. But I'm very, very pleased with the frame. Actually, in all actuality, I think this frame matches much better to Henry than the frame that I originally picked out for him. So there he is, Henry VIII. And he now hangs in my living room on the wall. Henry VIII. Okay, so that's finish number 1. Finish number 2, and I finished Henry on May 28th. So I finished Henry May 28th, and I showed that on one of my videos. And then I had him fully finished, or I had him fully framed in the middle of June, and I picked him up I want to say I picked him up 2 weeks later, so it was I can't remember. I think it was in July when I picked him up, though. Then at the end of June, June 28th, I fully finished my By the Bay 13th Bay Colony. And here is 13th Bay Colony. This is on, oh, I'm sorry, Henry VIII is on 28 count even Lugana, 1/1 full cross. By the Bay, 13th Bay Colony, this is all 3 parts, 1, 2, and 3 as a panorama. By the Bay is on 46 count Rocky Mountain by XJU Designs from Etsy. This is Rocky Mountain, 46 count linen, 1/2. And this is all 3 parts. So we have 1, 2, and 3. Parts 1, 2, and 3. I started this last summer. I think it took me 1 year. So I started this, I believe I started this last summer, and I finished it in June 28th. So I will get this framed up. I'm thinking I will frame it myself. And that's finish number 2. Okay, so finish number 2. Finish number 3. Ooh. I fully finished, and this is a Cottage Garden Samplings Winter Wisdom, and I did my own little finagling on this one because I didn't like all the primitive parts in it. So I only wanted the branch and the birds and the word. And I know it looks a little snug in the frame, but so what happened was I went out to dinner with a friend, and I found this frame, and I thought it was going to be perfect. And when I measured before I went out, when I measured the picture, I thought it was going to fit best in a 5x7 frame. So that's what I bought, was a 5x7 frame. It's just a tad snug, but when you get up close and you look, it actually is almost perfect. It's just because the wood of the frame is so thick that it does shadow the stitching a little bit. But I'm very, very pleased with it, and the frame itself, it was such a perfect looking frame for the design that I'm actually going to keep it the way it is. This is going to go to my office and sit on my desk at work. So I'm quite pleased with the way it turned out. And this one I actually framed without the glass. This is the first time I've ever framed something without the glass, and I'm actually quite pleased with that. Now, I did leave a lot of fabric on the back, inside the back, in case I do want to reframe it again down the road. But for now, there it is. Winter Wisdom by Cottage Garden Samplings. This is on 56 count linen. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the color. Also by XJU Designs on Etsy. There we go. Finish number 3. And then the final finish, I finished at the retreat. And so the final finish so far, I finished at the retreat. And so I started, after I got Winter Wisdom done, I was working on the mushroom sampler, and I kept working on it, and I was getting close. I was working on, I had to do the entire center portion of the mushroom sampler, and it started stitching up pretty quickly. And so, I got drawn into it so much that I just kept stitching up the different motifs in the border. And next thing I knew it, whenever it came time to go to the retreat, I was down to 1.5 motifs, and I was like, well, I'm not going to stitch on anything else until I have this one completely done. So that's what I did. So when I went to the retreat, I stitched on the mushroom sampler, and I was able to get this done on, I had intended on doing this on Friday. I forgot to take the page that had the blended threads charted out on it. So that meant whenever I came home Friday night, because we stayed here at my house, I had to get that Friday night, and I took that on Saturday, and I finished this on Saturday at the retreat. And there is the mushroom sampler. So this summer I did everything on the inside section. So those 5 motifs and the word border in the center. So up close, let's go this way. And this is on the 28 count linen that comes in the kit. So this is one that I'm very happy it's done. I love the final finish of it. I hated stitching it. And I think I hated stitching it because of all the backstitch words and the backstitch leaves and all the backstitch on it. And normally I don't mind backstitch, but this one just really got to me, and I don't know why. But I love the final finish of it. I just didn't really care. I didn't really like stitching it. but I'm glad I did it. So that is the mushroom sampler. So that's 4 finishes between the end of May and the beginning of August. So since then, when I came home from the retreat in after the retreat in August, the first thing I wanted to do was pull out London. One of my goals was to work on London and get London done this year. So this is London by Thea Governor. This is what it will look like when it's done. It's on 18 count black Ada. And needless to say, I didn't get very much done. So I worked on the center section right here of this next building, and I wasn't really feeling it. So I put it away. And hopefully one day I will feel the urge to work on it again. But until then, I'm not going to force myself to work on something that I'm not enjoying. So the other thing that I worked on at the retreat, and I forgot to get what it will look like when it's done. I'll be right back. The one thing I started this at the retreat when I was in Canada with Caroline, is the Autumn Forest Quaker. And this is what it'll look like when it's done. And this is by Stickadine von der Bienberg, right? Bienberg. There it is. This is the Autumn Forest Quaker. I purchased this when I was up in Minnesota at Stitchville. And I started working on this up in Canada by doing this portion right here. I'm going to put a picture in here if I remember. Hopefully I remember. Before I moved the Q-snap on Wednesday. And since Wednesday, this is what I've gotten done. So as of Wednesday, I had 1/4 of the pattern completely finished. And now I'm working up into the top left-hand corner. This bear last night took me forever, probably 5 hours. And I'm slowly working. The top corner is like right here. I just have one Quaker here. I have the corner Quaker right here, another Quaker here, a big tree here, and then I will move on to the next page. So this bottom page is done. This top corner page will be done here soon, probably this weekend. And I'm really enjoying this one. So I'm just going to continue working on this because this is what I'm feeling like working on. So that is the one that I've been working on the most recently. And I have made one minor change to this pattern. Actually, I've made 2 minor changes. So one thing is this owl. I've changed the color of this owl to a gray owl. And I'm going to make all of my initials in a yellowy gold color, so that they stand out compared to the rest of the letters. And that's everything I've been working on. I haven't really been doing any knitting. I've knitted a few rows of my sock here and there, and that's about it. So I hope you've all been doing well. I've just been kind of going with the flow as far as stitching, and I don't have any plans, because whenever I do have a plan, like London, it doesn't happen. So I'm not forcing myself to do anything. I'm kind of like on this, like I said, frenzy as far as getting stuff finished. And whenever they get, I really want to just get the stuff done that I have on the go, that I've had on the go for a very long time. And then whenever I do get the urge to start something new, I will start something new. And until then, I'm just working on what I want to work on. So I hope you all have a great stitching time, because I don't know when I will be back. I don't know if this is going to be a regular thing or if this is just going to be a check-in for every once in a while, because I don't know what's happening in my life that's going to be, that could cause me to not be able to come back regularly. But I will be back occasionally, if not regularly, and I will hopefully be back next week to present the winners of the large projects finished competition. And until then, I hope you all have a great day, and don't forget to always be creative.